play, and you're going to be watching Tier 2 matches. This is Week 6. Tier 2, for your reference, is like your Diamonds, Masters, kind of area. You know, that about 500 SR spread from the bottom of, or the middle of Diamond to the top, middle of Masters is where you're going to see most of these guys. And this is Week 6 of play. We have two teams going up against each other. We are seeing... I lost my feed. Iconic Noobs take on Spellbound Tengus. Iconic Noobs, one of the favorites of the tier right now, I would say. Wouldn't you, Uravity?
Yes,
joined by
I
my
would
boy
agree.
Uravity on the observing and play-by-play.
Howdy, howdy. I'm just double checking the map rotations right now and make sure everything's correct.
But yes, so Iconic Noobs are coming in. Spellbound Tengus are going to be an up-and-coming team. They've recently made a bunch of pickups. Something like 5 trades in the last 5 days or something like that. This is going to be a team with a very new look. I believe both JDM and Skrillex were part of those new pickups as well.
So we've got ready from Noobs. I haven't seen ready from Spellbound yet.
So what are your predictions for this match, Mr. Uravity?
So, as far as fantasy goes, I had picked Iconic Noobs to win this game. But then Spellbound Tengu started making pickups for people from sort of outside the league, so now there's kind of an unknown element thrown into Spellbound Tengus that I haven't really had a chance to see, and I've heard good things about some of the pickups they've made. So I don't really have a current... I do think Iconic Noobs are a very strong team and will probably be able to take the series in the end, but there is that unknown element of Iconic Noobs have these few players they need to worry about that they haven't had a chance to really VOD review or play a scrim against before this game, so it could go either way.
Indeed. I have very similar thoughts. I either put the same either 4-0 or 3-1, I don't know, but it's very, when I was writing it, I'm the first one to submit always because I make the form. And I really thought, I'm like, if I wanted to make up some ground in my fantasy score, this could be a match that is very upsettable, depending on what these pickups from Cabin Fever look like. Ultimately, I decided to go with the safe pick.
Mm-hmm.
But no, this is going to be very interesting with so many unknown quantities on the side of Spellbound Tengus.
And we've got readies from both sides, so we shall head in.
Let's take off to our first map, Lijiang Tower.
I'm betting on Control Center. That's the first
now arriving at
map.
Lijiang Tower.
That is my favorite of these places. I couldn't say that very confidently.
I was wrong.
Match.
It happens.
Out of 1 in 3 chance, okay? Pause button works.
Pause button works. I like where this is going.
We're set up for a good night tonight, Crypto. We got the pause button.
Hey, that's better than, it's better than some nights. Some nights can be a struggle out here,
Ready for battle.
So we see
so
a Ball Sigma, Symmetra Farah, and Lucio Mercy coming out of the side of Iconic Noobs here. This is an interesting composition. Then over on this side of the Spellbound Tengus, we have an actual, like a Rhine Diva brawl sort of going on here with the Symmetra, McCree, Lucio, and Baptiste. Both these teams are going to get to the point really quickly here with the Lucio and the Symmetra.
Indeed. So this is kind of...
Iconic Noobs not opting for the window teleport here, actually going to the side and get on point a little bit quicker. Taking out the teleporter for Spellbound Tengus, and a fight between the Hitscan and Infinite out here in the courtyard, favoring the Far Mercy. They get rid of their only counter, and now they're just firing into the backs of Spellbound Tengus for free. Iconic Noobs have a pretty good setup on this point, but Bambi's going to go in and try to make room for his team to come in on this point. Muffin Pirate throws the shield out, hits Bambi with a rock, trying to back off. A barrage already coming out from Infinite, able to demech JDM. Bambi charges in, but Muffin Pirate able to take him out. And now Pop-Tart uses the amplification matrix, but it's not going to be enough, and now they're going to chase out the Lucio and the McCree for Spellbound Tengus, and that'll be Iconic Noobs wrapping up this first team fight.
Indeed. If Pop-Tart had gotten out with their ultimate there, I'd be a little more of a happy man. But they're now like very noticeably behind his ult economy, and retaking into this Pharah is just pain.
And Drogon's going to preemptively pop the Valkyrie here, but it's not going to be a huge deal because Ranch able to get 2 with their ultimate right away. And Infinite just killing it with the Far Mercy. Already finding 2 of their own. Spellbound Tengus don't even really get a fight here. Just 2 ultimates used on the side of Iconic Noobs and going to keep Spellbound Tengus shut out. Infinite with another pick on the Nano Boost.
So
they really need that Lucio to make this rotation happen too.
Absolutely. This is the problem you see. The Semitali strat, like I really like it for that first point fight. And you know, jumping in and making things happen. But retaking with this comp is just so dangerous. And that's kind of opposing where the high Sigma
We've got a bunch of ultimates coming out from both sides, both Simwall's Gravitic Flux, and now the beat from both sides actually. Maximum sustain going in for both of these teams. The Amplification Matrix boosting the healing. Violent not able to get their Deadeye off here. Shut down by Infinite. Infinite putting in so much work on this Pharah. The bomb gets tossed out, but I think it's stuck somewhere. And a huge barrage coming out from Infinite. Just absolutely destroying on this Pharah tonight. JDM flies in for the last second touch. Gonna get immediately demeched, unfortunately. And that'll be... Oh, we still have the Soldier. Soldier makes it back with the Mercy Pocket, but goes down immediately. Nano is trying to get the res, doesn't quite find it. Infinite now on the Doomfist, coming back to help contest. Gonna be able to knock Skrillex away, and Iconic Noob's gonna get a pretty convincing 100-0 to start their series on Li Zheng so far.
Yes, that was absolutely just painful. That was so strong out of Iconic Noobs. And I you know, it was so quick and decisive. I don't even know that it was, you know, poor play on the side of Spellbound Tengus. That was just like being put in a pressure cooker. It was just perfectly reversed.
Yeah, Iconic Noobs had a really good composition there, and like Infinite, like Spellbound Tengus were gonna have to show up with one of the best hit scan players in tier 2 to shut down Infinite right there, because like Infinite knew that Violent needed to die for them to do whatever they wanted, and they made it happen every single time. And Iconic Noobs had a comp that could facilitate that kind of craziness, which we don't see here. We actually see a pretty standard brawl coming out this time from both sides. We do see the team fight already starting here in a pretty awkward place for half of Iconic Noobs, but they're making it work here in this corner, finding quite a few picks of their own. JDM trying to get out on this Diva, but Soldier and Lucio, Bleem and Sons not letting them get away. JDM gets demeched, and a nice fire strike on the JDM as well. They're going to get the stagger kill onto the Baby Diva, and Iconic Noobs already showing another powerful performance here. Holding up here at this early choke.
What I love to see is we saw, you know, Noobs run a very dishonest comp on the last point, for what we expect them to come. And now they're running perhaps one of the most honest times.
Nice shatter finding both of the tanks here. Immortality Field gets knocked out pretty early. Skrillex here just going nuts on the Junkrat now, using all that free damage to find half of the team now. Bambi chasing Infinite off the point, also on a Junkrat, now swinging the hammer. Able to smack Suns once, but Suns is now avoiding the tank line, but Skrillex is going to find them anyway. And now we've got Ranch coming back in to contest, as well as Bleem on this Lucio. These Reinhardts finally, Bambi able to land the deciding blow here. But Skrillex on the Junkrat, able to just instantly delete targets and just not even let them play the game. And we're finally going to see the flip for Spellbound Tengus.
The Skrillex rat is filthy. Oh my goodness. Man does just insane damage and pressure. And it's kind of set his team up, you know, for that recontest, but a little bit of timing. You're looking at both DPS ults and the Shatter. I don't hate that up against what they've got on the side of Tengus.
Shatter gets blocked here, I believe, by a Zarya bubble? I didn't quite catch that. Infinite, though, able to knock out Skrillex, the main problem for them last time, with a Riptire. Nano Boost able to touch at the last second with the Guardian Angel. This poor Zarya is just getting lifted like crazy. JDM getting absolutely bullied on the point. Nano Boost just trying to contest for percentage and does a great job at it. Able to get their team to 45%, nearly evening this out.
Okay, I'm back. Do I sound any louder?
A little bit.
Okay, we'll keep working on it. So, these fights are just so back and forth.
Nice sleep on the Bambi. And the Shatter and the grab coming through, it was actually a necessity because the Shatter got blocked. Iconic Noobs able to use that grab and the tire there to kind of accumulate the damage they needed to get the couple crucial picks they need. And now they're going in pretty aggressively, but JDM's in their backline. Bleem able to shut them down. Nanoboost uses the Valkyrie, gonna go in for the touch, finds it, but Iconic Noobs are just shredding through their backline. A nice Immortality Field from Pop-Tart, but I don't know if they're gonna be able to get in. They're not, and that will be Iconic Noobs wrapping up Lijiang Tower to take themselves 1-0 in the series.
That was a pretty solid performance on the side of Iconic Noobs, I gotta say.
I agree.
There was a lot to like if you're a Noobs fan. We saw a variety of comps and styles being played. Oh my goodness.
Oh, this is amazing.
Oh, the silky slick movement on the Pharah, you know. Ah, so good, so good. And deserving of that 71% KP, no doubt. Drogon cashing in on his little bit of it as well. Oh, so let's talk about Spellbound Tengus a little bit though. There's definitely, I felt like they looked significantly better when they weren't being compositionally mismatched, which I really think what happened on Gardens there. They had trying to retake into that divey, boopy, you know, composition is a pain. But when both teams were on the more traditional, pure-ish brawl, it looked a lot tighter. You know, they captured the point. They picked up 70% or whatever it was. They were trading out fights back and forth, back and forth. That, you know, that's an improvement.
It is.
And I hope that as this rest of this series goes on, that we see less of the question marks where compositionally, like, there's not a lot you can do.
Right. And
more of this, you know, solid mirror style play. Or even, you know, Spellbound Tengus finding their own secret answer. It can kind of go either way, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Well, our next map will be Hollywood, which has lots of room for that, you know, your own secret sauce application. You can see all sorts of things come out here. You got your slow rotating shield comps, you've got your Symmetra telecoms, you've got your Bastion defenses. Like there's quite a lot you can get creative with here. And I'm curious if either of these teams will go for that creativity or play, kind of heads up.
Right. So we're gonna see the best coming in here for Bambi, and Hash Brown coming in for Nano Boost on the side of Spellbound Tengus.
Interesting. Welcome, Cat. It went 2-0 to Iconic Noobs. Spellbound Tengus looking pretty competitive on Control Center.
Mm-hmm.
How is all of chat this evening? You guys have been pretty talkative, even though I wasn't paying attention to you. Mercy brings little value. This comp, Infinite Care. Infinite did kind of deadlift Gardens Korean.
Yes,
you're
definitely.
big true there. The Pharah just pure filth. I love good Pharah play. Legitimately, it might be my favorite character to watch. Ooh, that's tough.
So there will only be 2 swaps coming in on the side of Iconic Noobs as well. Boss will be coming in for Bleem on the support line, and LaCroix will be coming in for Suns on the DPS line. And LaCroix Infinite DPS line sounds terrifying after what I just watched Infinite do.
Indeed, this looks like you don't want no part of it. And I would say that Boss coming in probably suggests more Mercy play out of them. I'm not sure.
Well, Drogon stayed in as well, so most likely.
So are we gonna? This could indicate potentially. Well, it might not say anything at all. I was thinking you could see double bird, but with Amelia LaCroix in, I suspect we're going to see some hit scan play probably. I mean, point 2 Hollywood is a great place for some hit scan.
Absolutely. Honestly, pretty much the entirety of Hollywood is a good place for a hit scan to be. And a lot of that can be because a lot of Hollywood is a really good place for Pharah to be.
It's true. The Pharah poke on first point is pretty nifty, and if you can maintain high ground control on second point, Pharah can be pretty rude there as well, although it's so hard to keep full high ground control.
Yes.
Unless you also have a hit scan, to duel whoever's standing on the opposite roof.
That's true.
But I'll be interested to see what comes out. I don't think... This is, again, kind of going back to what we were talking about first map. There's even more new players coming in on the side of Spellbound Tengus.
Yes.
So, maybe we level up a little bit more yet again. Who knows? How are our readies looking from the boys?
We have a ready from Iconic Noobs. We are waiting on one from the Tengus. There we go. We've got readies on both sides, so we're going to go in.
I will say, the best, his Discord profile picture is bumper. So, it could be an interesting look. Well, if he locks the Rhine, we'll know. At least on attack. Oh, don't bait casters. Don't bait the casters. Just tell us what we're going to see. So we can talk about it.
A couple of fun things you can do here, and I wouldn't put too far past the Iconic Noobs, as they do have the noob org label of Kings of Cheese strats, you could set up a bunker here, a Bastion bunker on A. It's pretty common to run like either just a straight Bastion bunker or a Sim Bastion bunker, but it doesn't look like they're going to opt for that.
They're going to run for their bread and butter double shield composition, which I would argue might be their overall best look we've seen out of them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sometimes they mix in some more interesting things with Bastion and whatnot. We do see the Reinhardt Diva composition with double snipers coming in on the attack flank. That's going to give Amelia and Infinite both, you know, if they're not playing directly behind shield, Spain without the S, high potential.
This is going to be rough. They're kind of banking on one of their snipers they're going to pick here. JDM able to knock the team off the high ground, but might come at the cost of their mech. Really nice cleanup there from the best to get their shield in there and the healers to keep JDM in their mech, but their tanks are really weak. They're not going to be able to push just yet, but they have gotten a better positional advantage here. They do lose JDM's mecha here. Not what you want to see happen, especially with the res coming through on the Drogon now. The best is kind of alone on the point here, has to back off. Pop-Tart is glued to them with that yellow beam. We do see Violent has managed to climb up here with the Hanzo, but gets knocked out as soon as I decide to point it out by a concussion mine from Infinite. And that seems to be the Tengu's sign to retreat here. Skrillex still looking for picks on the Widowmaker.
After Boss got the res off, or, you know, leading up to that moment, they really needed to hit the gas on the side of Spellbound Tengus, I think. That was probably the answer to deny that. But it cost them their mech to get it all done. So, and we see Violent falling again already.
The Gravitic Flux coming through, picking up what looks to be 3. Knocking most of them down to half health here. Doesn't look like the follow-up's going to come through, though. Unfortunately, that Flux isn't going to be able to be cashed in on to do much more than buy space and time. And we see the Tengus coming through here. A lot of them trying to rotate up to this high ground. Scratch that. All of them are going to take this high ground away. They want this positional advantage that Iconic Noobs once took for themselves, but Infinite able to take out JDM. That's a lot of their damage negation gone. The best not able to charge Bob off like they had intended to. The res going to come through on the JDM, evening the numbers back out again. Though this composition isn't really built to take a poke war as far as your tanks are concerned. They want to be down there on that ground fighting right now. The Riptire coming out. Is it going to be huge? Infinite's going up the back alley. Not able to actually find the pick, but it doesn't matter because LaCroix has been going crazy in the meantime, finding their main tank and their main support. And now Iconic Noobs are going quick and trying to get these stagger kills here. They're going to clean it up, and that's another solid hold for Iconic Noobs.
We could rewind, and there was a moment where Best's shield went down on high ground, and he's literally just standing there swinging with nothing to do. And that, I think, like, epitomizes exactly what the problem with this composition is. They want to play back and play slow and allow for pokes, but their tanks just don't allow
lifted
it.
by this Flux here. That's going to be a pretty instant team fight when their half of Spellbound Tengus are gone. Iconic Noobs know what they want to do with this composition, and they're executing, I would say, almost perfectly here. Their ult rotations have been pretty clean. I mean, they still got a Valkyrie in the bank. You could argue that this is probably Spellbound Tengu's best shot here. They've got 4 ultimates online, and Skrillex on Junkrat will build that Riptire within this next fight. So they've got about a 4 ult advantage over Iconic Noobs right now. If they move quickly, which it seems they want to do, they've got a great chance. The Dragon's being invested here. Muffin Pirate just stuck in them, not able to get out. You lose your main tank. The Nano Boost has been invested onto the best. Ranch Suppressant, unfortunately, his own orbs are going to get the best of them. The Shatter actually killing LaCroix. This is still back and forth. Iconic Noobs have been finding picks in between. Now the Supercharger coming out from Muffin Pirate and the Riptire from Infinite. If this gets anybody, this could be over for Spellbound Tengus, and it finds Pop-Tart's Mercy. That's huge. The res is completely out of play now. And Ranch coming back in on the wrecking. All the supports are gone for Spellbound Tengus. They've got overtime. And now the Riptire's coming out, but can Violent touch in time? They don't have their dash, and Iconic Noobs are going to find the full hold.
So, what we saw here is very much what I've been describing as people being like, Reinhardt's still dead, Reinhardt's still dead. Reinhardt is not dead. When Reinhardt closes the gap onto point, he's even more terrifying than he used to be. But the composition and the map geometry that we're seeing Iconic Noobs here play, which is that double shield, means he never makes it to point. Or if he makes it to point, it's with somebody on his team dead, or his diva demeched, or literally no shield whatsoever. And then they lose. Like, you have to play, in my opinion, their best chance at victory there was probably playing with that diva, actually, and then doing a fast rotation either through the back corner or up through high ground. Even if you wanted to do the go through security and then hop around through the back of cafe, like, they needed to approach the point without being in line of sight of Iconic Noobs, and they didn't do it.
I agree.
And thus, Reinhardt is a bad character if you do that. Even though he can be good, used properly. It's just very difficult.
Yes, definitely. Especially into the comp that Iconic Noobs tried to run there. So we do see a ball diva dive coming out here with the double bird. This is going to be really, really hard to kind of fight against. They do have Skrillex on hit scan of their own as well as Hash Brown on the Baptiste, but it's going to be really hard for them to hold once this dive takes place. Skrillex with an early pick onto the Echo. It's getting rezzed up though. Skrillex actually tried to interfere with the res, and Infinite shuts them down for doing so since they were in that tight stairwell. And now it's just kind of a slow poke war here, which eventually Spellbound Tengus will win that fight. They've got Iconic Noobs need to push into Spellbound Tengus if they plan to win this fight. However, this picks have stopped rolling through. Now Iconic Noobs are finding their footing again. They've got their mecha back. They've got their positioning where they want to be. They are just about ready to dive again.
I think the plan is to harry the supports out of position, but right now it's just not going.
These reses are gonna really start wearing down Spellbound Tengus. LaCroix though able to find Violent, who was trying to just immediately deny the res pickup, and now Infinite in their backline with another barrage taking out Skrillex, and the mines are coming through from Ranch. I'm not sure if Spellbound's gonna have a whole lot to do with this. Pop-Tart falls to Infinite, and it looks like that'll be Iconic Noobs wrapping up Hollywood here.
That was slow, but relatively surgical from Noobs. Kind of looking at that same problem of how do you approach this composition that's going to poke the crap out of you, and saying, we're going to go real fast. We're going to take to the sky. We're going to grapple hook our way in. You know, boosters, the whole 9 yards. And they made it work. You know, it's a low... That double bird comp can be a little low sustaining. You gotta win fast. But they actually kind of managed to pull it off with the Pharah poke. Just keeping the damage pressure on, forcing the healers to be harried, you know. Honestly, it looked like Pop-Tart had Guardian Angel on cooldown, you know, just all the time trying to avoid being targeted by the spam damage coming in from on high. And eventually they end up somewhere you don't want to be, or, you know, not protecting the person who's diveable, and then it falls apart, kind of like what we saw.
Yep.
So, on that note, the boys over at Iconic Noobs wanted us to bring up that this is their team manager, Aries, last series with the team. They'll be moving to Japan, you know, relatively soon, sometime over the holiday break, I guess. And will no longer, you know, really be able to participate in Oasis activities. And, you know, that's a pretty big thing. Your team manager leaves, they're a valued part of the organization. Heck, I know we play them in tier 3 as well in DPS. So that's, you know, everybody say goodbye and thank you to Lil Aries. cherished member of the Noobs organization.
Very much so. I talk about this a lot. I'll be really sad for Ares to go. They're really fun to watch play in Tier 3, and the scrims, we've scrimmed Iconic a lot. It's really fun to play against Ares, and I'm definitely going to miss their Mei. I love watching Ares play Mei so much.
They were probably the closest thing you had to the closest thing you had to like a true Mei rivalry, you know,
Yeah.
down in T3. Uravity being one of the greatest Mei one tricks of all time.
One trick IB. So an actually pretty extensive amount of swaps coming out here from Iconic Noobs. They're putting Bleem in on the tank line, Sun's back in on the DPS line. They fully swap out their support line for Siren and Valyrian Steel.
That is... I love seeing Val play. I think she's pretty content to hang out, but, you know, it's always nice to see your people come in.
Definitely.
For some maps. Dylan, that's fine. You know, Cross can be a good Mei as well. I just... Uravity was a Mei 1 trick before he was playing DPS in Tier 3. Like... it is filthy. Hello, Becca.
So, looks like we'll be seeing the same tank line out of Spellbound Tengus. They'll be bringing Honey Biscuits in on the DPS line here, which I haven't seen that in quite a few months.
It's a new... Well, it's not a new look, but it's a classic look. The Honey Biscuits Tier 3 DPS domination from, you know, last season was chef's kiss. It was just so good.
Definitely argue Honey Biscuits was definitely towards the top of that conversation for best hit scan player of Tier 3 during Season 4.
I would agree with that.
We'll have to see what they play, though, because I remember Honey Biscuits, funny enough, speaking of Mei, had a really good Mei on them, as well as a pretty fun to watch and play against Sombra. I know, crazy to play against Sombra and have fun.
Fun? What is fun?
We're playing Overwatch. Anything fun has to be found. It's no longer just given to you. To make fun out of this game these days.
You know, it's funny you say that. Last night, I played, I don't know, probably 3 or 4 hours of Overwatch, and I'll say hour 1 was pretty fun. Hours 2 through 2.5 or 3 were miserable. And by hour 4, I kind of didn't give a crap anymore. And it was really fun again.
I know I grouped up with Mag Dragon and Eldritch Arcana from the Stardust Crusaders for some really late quick play last night, and we basically hard through, but it worked, so we were having the time of our lives, because literally the entire game was just Mag Dragon plays Wrecking Ball, spins to win on whatever objective is currently in the map, while Eldritch Arcana Reddit Lucio's, and I just end up on either, like, Sleepy Ana or just, like, DPS Hog.
Sometimes you gotta make your own fun, like you said, and, you know, I remember seeing in the Looking for Group chat last night, you know, Ball, just... in increasingly more caps and question marks. And now I understand the context, so that's good. We have the ready from Muffin.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have... Oh, getting the ready from Tengus. Nano boost will give the ready when they are ready. Good. Ooh, Hungo, where did you get your sword? I want one.
I'm giving me 2 minutes in match chat.
2-minute warning.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that a football thing?
I have no clue. I don't watch
crazy?
football.
One of you sports people in chat. 2-minute warning. Is that a football thing? And I do mean American football. None of that European stuff. Thank you, Kat. Volskaya. So you reckon? So actually, I'm a little curious. This would be a point where I would suspect that we see Noobs play that offensive dive, and as you and your fellows on Rogue Knights showed last night, potentially the defensive dive as well.
Volskaya is a fun option for that.
But when I think Bleem, I don't think dive tanks. I think Sigma. Let's be real honest here. My first thought when I see Bleem is I see Sigma. His name might as well be Sigma 537 because that's about how many elims he gets every match. But I don't know. The Bleem Diva, the Bleem Ball. I'm not saying it's impossible, but you could also play the Sigma Ball, I suppose. The Sigma Ball is very in vogue right now, but then wouldn't you have Ranch in to play the ball? I don't know. And we've got so much variety coming out on the side of Spellbound Tengus. It's hard to guess what they're going to play. And we are going in as the 2-minute warning is engaged.
Traveling to Volskaya Industries.
Luckily, we do see that they are ready.
Yeah, just the final second we got the ready from the Nano boost. So Volskaya is actually a pretty fun 2CP, which it really took a lot of time for this map to kind of warm up to me, because I hated Volskaya for such a long time. Honestly, my first, I didn't like it even when I very first joined the Oasis server and had started participating. This was still one of my least favorite maps, and honestly, these days, it's one of my more favorite 2CP maps to play on. I think there's a lot of variety in the pathing, in the elevation. There's a lot of high ground opportunities, but they're not always the best option depending on what composition you decide to play. And because this map has so many different opportunities and pathing options and staging areas, you can play pretty much any comp on this map and it's still to a degree acceptable.
This is actually a map where I quite like the double shield mirror even, and that's not very common, because I like how that both teams pick a side of this central high ground that we see Skrillex standing on right now, and then they camp each corner and look for the pick and try and find the tiny angle or the flank, and that's where it's actually interesting. But we're gonna see a Telestrat come out of Iconic Noobs.
And we see Spellbound just immediately rotating for it. They've already met them here. The swinging has started, and a charge kill coming out from Bleem here. That's going to set them up for a really nice start here. And LaCroix able to find Nano Boost. The main take and the main healer is gone. Can Skrillex bring it back, though? They've managed to get a pick on the LaCroix. But Muffin Pirate finding Honey Biscuits, and now Suns with a double kill on the Soldier. Just kind of set up here on this high ground, able to make that rotation around to take out those two up top, and Iconic Noobs are going to make a pretty clean point A take here.
It looked like Best rotated too quickly, or not too quickly, but he was even quicker on that draw, and he actually got caught between Iconic Noobs. Iconic Noobs kind of cut in between him and the rest of the team.
Yeah.
And he just died instantly because of it. He's actually kind of unlucky.
So we have the damage boosted Skrillex here, trying to get some pop shots here. Not quite finding them. Nice counterpin there from Bleem. The best is going to get knocked right out. JDM knocked out of their mecha. The tactical visor coming in here. Now a Blizzard from Honey Biscuits. They have to stall this out as much as they can. Bleem's actually frozen right now. Honey Biscuits finds 3 here in this fight. Now Bleem finds Nano Boost. Going to go off the map with them. Well, if you have to make an exit of some sort, that's probably the best option. And Val gets stuck in the alley with nothing but the Ice Queen herself.
You know, the funny part about that is, I believe Nano Boost was part of Blank Assassins, and would have been on the White Walkers Blank Assassins combo team for this season with Bleem. So that might be just a little bit of kind of an I love you hug from Bleem.
Shatter coming out from Bleem, it's huge, it finds half the team. A nice immortality field here, gonna keep Bleem alive even though they're anti for the most part, but now it's gone and the best able to find the pick. But LaCroix on the Sanzo able to pick off Honey Biscuits, which is a huge source of sustain, but the bomb finding 2. This is pretty much just cleanup now coming out from Spellbound Tengus. That's 2 team fights down, but you got 4 more minutes to go.
Indeed, they're stabilized. They have a little bit of an ult disadvantage, but we'll see what they can make happen. Respawns are a big thing here, and they kind of have that same disadvantage in that the other team's trying to close the distance with the Ryan Zarya, and they're going to get pushed for it.
The best receives this Nano Boost here. Is going to get really aggro with it. Lady of Siren trying to get out, uses the immortality field so Bob doesn't finish them off.
Yeah.
For the price of Nano Boost, you buy yourself about a minute's worth of time on hold, though. You might not have gotten very many picks, if any at all. But you also still have the point.
They did use Bob there as well. That's pretty expensive stuff.
Oh, huge E from JDM! Huge. Now the Dragons come through. They are going to damage Honey Biscuits enough. They're actually going to get the kill on the Honey Biscuits. Sun's using the tactical visor now, dropping off from the bridge, and now Spellbound Tengu is completely wiped out. You hear the team kill horn being sounded. Can Honey Biscuits make it back out here in time to touch? Using the wall to drop down from the bridge, uses the Blizzard. This could be huge for their recontest. And JDM actually avoids the shatter. Unfortunately, though, Skrillex is going to fall here. A nice freeze from Honey Biscuits on the Bleem, but it's not going to be enough. Huge shatter coming out from the best. It knocks down Val. They're actually going to find the kill on that with the spin to win. And now things are starting to look like they're going to go Spellbound Tengu's way. They've got the positional advantage, and now the picks are starting to come through for them. But they lose the best, and they've lost Hash Brown. And now the Reaper's here. Skrillex is back. And actually, Muffin Pirate on the Zarya is doing so much damage, they're not actually able to chew through them in time. And now Muffin Pirate finding 3, able to secure point B finally. And Iconic Noobs will complete their attack on Volskaya.
Muffin, like, did he go invisible there? Like, man just survived on point. Turret laser beaming everybody for like
absolutely
what felt like 5 minutes, but I know it was probably 45 seconds. Just racking them up.
I honestly had thought Muffin Pirate was gonna fall. Like, I thought when they started, like, right after the pick onto Val, I thought it was, like, over for Muffin Pirate, because I believe they had gotten antied. They were definitely below half health and outside of the immortality field. I thought they were going to go for that cleanup on the Muffin Pirate, but Muffin Pirate was, I guess, able to just kind of avoid, like, being in critical areas for the time being, and that paid off huge for them. Iconic
He
Noobs.
called... Oh... See,
they're pulling it out. They're pulling out the Bastion.
I don't even think this is a bad spot. Like, this isn't... I would argue this isn't even...
9.
Yeah, Muffin is a questionable off tank. I won't hate on you there, Kenny. But he got it done. That's literally all that matters. I need to see more before I declare Muffin go off tank. But I want to see this Bastion. I don't even think the Bastion is that cheesy here. Like,
It's
I
not.
think Bastion is close to a legitimate strat on this point.
It is. I honestly expect to see Bastions on Volskaya. Like I said, just about any composition can be played here, especially on point A. And that includes the Bastion bunker.
The Sombra coming in on the side of Honey Biscuits.
LaCroix actually not covered. There we go. They moved back a little bit into the range of the shield. Now they're going to play outside of the Bastion's line of sight. We'll see how long this works for them. Val kind of poking the point for a second there. Honey Biscuits falls and a DMEC has happened. And that looks like it's going to be the collapse of Spellbound Tengus there.
So, I'll be honest, I like the idea that Spellbound Tengus had there. Like, I think I would have modified it and come through the little side room here, and then they don't have speed boost, but I would have. Oh, they do have speed boost. So yeah, speed boost up the stairs, and then congratulations, you've reclaimed the Bastion's high ground. He's probably not here anymore, but you're closing off options, and eventually they have no options if you keep removing them.
Anita sits in the back here. Probably just looking to farm some EMP ult charge. Able to find about 8% of it there. Teleports out. Actually ends up netting themselves about 20% of their ult charge. LaCroix has repositioned though on this Bastion and just gonna rain bullets into this doorway. Nice hack coming out from Honey Biscuits, but unfortunately gets melted down. But the Shatter while everybody was looking away, finding 3, and now the Immortality field is gone. LaCroix running away on this Bastion, setting back up on the low ground. The kill comes through from JDM. Now Spellbound Tengus have to turn their attention to the rest of Iconic Noobs. And Suns with this tac visor up on the high ground just gonna melt everybody. Unfortunately, you got rid of the Bastion, but the team repositioned, almost used the Bastion as a sort of bait so that they could get into better position to take the fight after they lost their Bastion.
They did get 3 ults out on the side of Iconic Noobs. That's alright. Rule of thumb, never call anyone on a team good that views Bastion Bunker as a fun and viable strat. It is absolutely a fun and viable strat.
Yes.
But then again, my favorite strategy in games are rarely interactive ones. Anybody who played Hearthstone, I will ruin your fun by having my fun playing Freeze Mage.
LaCroix is melting this. Oh, this whole hog could be huge. It knocks one person, I believe, off the map entirely here. LaCroix popping this tank configuration, but JDM with a nice hook. The boom comes through, but the Bastion able to stay on the map and is actually still getting healed up by Val, I believe. Yes, they still have a lot to deal with here. LaCroix getting pulled again. They're still not quite able to pull them off the map yet. And that's just one problem. The rest of Iconic Noobs are shooting them in the back while on the point. Spellbound Tengus are having an impossible time getting this figured out here. They can't quite get the kill on the Bastion. And in the time they're spending trying to get rid of this Bastion, Iconic Noobs simply just kind of rotate away from them and just dogpile on the group that's dogpiling the Bastion.
We are looking at like about a 4-minute EMP here by the time it comes out. That's hard. That's EMP you generally think of as a pretty quick building ult, and we haven't seen that in effect here.
JDM already out of their mecha. If there's going to be an EMP, it needs to be very soon. The Honey Biscuits actually TPs all the way back to their mega. I don't think they're going to see this EMP in a meaningful time frame. A nice shatter here. There's the EMP, and it gets rid of the Immortality field. That might be what they needed to actually turn this fight 100% for themselves. Currently, the fight is being won by them, but they've got to touch the point. Skrillex's able to touch just in time. JDM's back on the Diva, and they've cleared Iconic Noobs off the point now. Now they've just got to get the kills and make sure nobody else is going to contest. LaCroix is back on the Tracer. Recall's out. Going to leave the fight entirely. And at the very last second, Spellbound Tengus are going to manage to cap point A. Now can they do the same for point B? They need to do it with a little bit of time on the clock.
So I'm a little curious. I was gonna question Honey Biscuits for not dropping their EMP when they could have got the 5-man and the supercharger in it, and instead teleporting out. But they made it work, so I won't won't harangue them too much for it.
It ended up working out because I think Iconic Noobs had the sustain they needed right there when that EMP went through and then lost all of it. I think that is a big reason why they were able to take it. Nanoboost's going to go on ahead and invest the Coalescence here for healing, and now the Tac Visor coming out from Skrillex here. The Best gets flashbanged out of their charge, that's huge. But they have managed to clear Iconic Noobs off the point, but Suns is up here on this high ground. Skrillex trying to find them out, but Suns actually rotates to the other side and might just get the better of the stool. They do, and now Iconic Noobs have come back out. They've found 2 picks of their own. Suns is in the back line here of Spellbound Tengus. There's just too much happening in this pincer attack. They're not going to be able to cap here. And Honey Biscuits goes back to the Sombra here.
I think the Sombra is probably a better pick for dismantling, but honestly, I would
Tengus
rather
are
see
in
something.
a lot of trouble at the moment because Iconic Noobs are sitting on 4 ultimates here. If they can rotate these properly, they will probably have the ult advantage for the rest of the game. Iconic Noobs are hitting Spellbound Tengus from 2 different sides here. They're going to go on ahead and invest the Flux. The beat comes out to negate it from Hash Brown. Nice play. Honey Biscuits able to pick off the Orisa. The main tank is now gone. But Suns, now JDM going up there to negate this Tac Visor. Does a great job at it. Lady of Siren, though, able to pick off the main tank of Spellbound Tengus. Now the picks are going in favor of Iconic Noobs. The trades are coming through, but it needs to be a clean sweep from Spellbound Tengus if they want to win this team fight here. Immortality Field coming out, forcing JDM out of this little bridge area, getting demexed here. This isn't going the way Spellbound Tengus need it to go, and if they want a chance at keeping their series hopes alive, they need to get out and take this fight again, but they need to win it really quickly. You have the EMP.
EMP bomb and done is maybe their best bet at actually capturing this point with time on the clock, which is their win condition for this series.
Yes.
If they capture with 0 in the clock, it's over.
They've got 10 seconds.
Biscuits in position. I think they've gone too slow.
I think so.
But here we go.
Can they capture this point, though, at the very least? Honey Biscuits still just now using the EMP. It finds one, but that is a pretty crucial one. You lose the Baptiste. There's no Immortality Field in play anymore. The Gravitic Flux coming out. There's no defensive ult to stop it from doing the damage. JDM is going insane on the Stiva, and now the Tactical Visor coming out from Skrillex, but Blame able to shut it down and using the Tactical Crouching as well. Honey Biscuits gets hit by a rock and knocked out by the 1-2 punch combo. And a Shatter coming through, but this Immortality Field is huge! High Noon coming out now from LaCroix. Is it going to be able to clear the point? They don't need it, and that'll be Iconic Noobs wrapping up Volskaya and taking the series score to 3-0.
Indeed, that was oh, we see the Muffin Pirate Potog.
You love to see the Orisa Potog.
The tracking. Absolute god tracking. He does miss the supercharger. Kind of goose that. It's outside of the shield. I'm gonna micro him because he's winning, so you know he knows it's fine. But no, he dropped his supercharger outside of the shield. Let's let JDM blow it up for free. It's a good play though. It's a good play. The tracking, the Orisa tracking, just so good, so good. Very Gosu. Oh, and I do want to go back to you people who are talking about Bastion comps. If the Atlanta Reign will run Bastion comps in the Overwatch League playoffs, the Bastion bunker comps, they're viable. You can take that and put that in a pipe and smoke it. Whether you want to talk about fun is arguable. Fun is in the eyes of the people who are playing it. They can absolutely be viable.
Being on the opposite side of the Bastion strat, not fun. Being the Bastion in the Bastion strat, fun.
Yes. I love playing Bastion. Like, the only problem is I feel like as a as like a main tank player, I can come up with how you want to play a Bastion strat, you know. But I would never want to try it in quick play or like comp without like a 6 stack, because there's no like it's actually very compositionally like, yeah, Roast Architect playing it in grand finals, like, come on.
Only one swap on the side of
Chandelier.
Spellbound. They're gonna bring Pop Tart in to pair with Nano Boost. And then on the side of Iconic Noobs, we will have Bleem and Muffin still on the tank line together. Infinite coming in for Suns. That seems to be the one they want to rotate. They rotate Suns out. They seem to leave a one-hit scan in at all times for the most part. And then Siren and Steel will be staying in. So we're going ahead and get all the swaps over with.
Sub Bleem out, please. If you're coming in a team, you wouldn't make it something you do every game. I mean, I feel like Noobs were probably relatively confident in this series, having already gone up 2-0 playing relatively honest compositions. Can somebody... Did I fix score? I think I did. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Why reinvent the wheel if it isn't broken? Korean, nobody wants to hear about your like rogue bronze boosting service. You're gonna be the next Sato. Like you're gonna get caught for being the godfather of bronze boosts.
Yikes!
Banned for 40 OwO, 40 OwO matches. 30, I think it was 30.
It was 30.
That'd be like 3 seasons.
Oh, you're right. It would be. Wow.
Korean unbanned for being booster in what 2022? Midway through 2022. Correction, Charles. I timed out Korean for 1 second, which just tells him he's timed out, but he's not actually timed out. There's a subtle difference. And I can take the heat, Charles. I don't know about you in the casting booth. Sometimes the heat gets to you, but you know, I'll Venmo you 4 scrim bucks. That's almost tempting, just because. Unfortunately, though, Charles, I'm not a Zoomer, so I don't have Venmo. I have PayPal like an adult. Venmo is owned by PayPal, though, so like.
Both are acceptable.
Okay, Zoomer.
I don't use Venmo.
Oh.
I tried to use Venmo and it rejected me, so we stick with PayPal. Yes, map. That is correct. That is a thing I'm supposed to change. We are going to Rialto rather than Junkertown.
Correct.
Right. We got readies from both sides, so we go.
Welcome to Rialto.
can't tell if Kenny's actually trash talking or being toxic. Or both? Like, heck, I don't even know. Haha, jokes, Charles, jokes. See, who needs us for content when we have Charles and Korean in the chat? Like, in terms of, like, mid-map filler, or, like, you know, mid-series filler,
Mm-hmm.
they really bring the comedy to this operation. Oh, okay. So we're saying Widow Farah on Je Defense. It's a good combo for this point. I don't know how I feel well, yeah, whatever. It'll be fine. What are we gonna see on the attack is my big question. JDM hard locking the D.Va as he's done most of the evening. Nano boost and Pop Tart on the Bash, or the Baptiste Mercy.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
So double off tank attack, but none of the typical. We're looking at Sigma
JDM
D.Va.
just flying up here to Infinite, gonna give the DM. Almost slips and falls into the river.
Skrillex already swapping over to the Widow. Going for that double hit scan luck to push Infinite out.
I think this gets actually got booped off of the bridge and into this little under area here. Nice little positional skip there. LaCroix did a good job acknowledging the fact that JDM was about to dive them out. They will use the grapple hook to get back out to their team in this courtyard.
Spellbound Tengus has successfully taken this high ground, which is going to be big. This high ground is super powerful. If you don't take it, you will get your head clipped. We see Amelia falling already.
It's kind of just been a slow push here. This has been a really interesting comp that the Spellbound Tengus have decided to roll out with the Sig D.Va. You don't really see that too terribly often. Was it because D.Va is just like hyper speed peel bot, and then like Sig is a very slow play tank, not really, you know, not a master of control or taking the high ground or even honestly taking space.
He can kind of like march people off of high ground by literally kind of
Nice Deadeye from Honey Biscuits there, able to just find the support line and enable this push back.
Liam takes his own way out.
We see the return tactical crouching after the end of Volskaya.
Nice try.
Bleem hopped in the river though, so they've yet to get vengeance on the one person that went hard with the tactical crouching. We'll see if they can get that later in the map. Skrillex in a lot of trouble up here. Bleem finds him out, but the Valkyrie just enough to save them. A huge gravitic flux though.
I really liked what JDM was trying to do with that bomb there, and although it didn't work out, he still caught Lady of Siren, which is basically a pick and a half.
Mm-hmm.
Personne n'échappe à mon regard.
And now we see the wall hacks come out on the side of Spellbound Tengus, and they're actually going to have a pretty difficult time recontesting this.
Amplification Matrix coupled with the gravitic flux is going to be terrifying to deal with. Unfortunately though, the cart is actually blocking the LOS of the IMAX screen. Pulse Bomb used, but gets stuck on the little railing of the cart. Infinite gets flashbanged to Honey Biscuits with the punch. And Spellbound Tengus are actually setting a pretty blistering pace here. They're not just like demolishing their team fights, but they're consistently pushing Iconic Noobs back more and more and more. They've kind of made it so they've only taken one team fight per objective.
No, like their slow push style with this double off tank is like, it's tactically pretty interesting. I don't know. it might just be like.
Honey Biscuits with a huge Deadeye! They pushed the tanks into this room. They weren't able to do anything to shield it, and the squishies just fall to the Deadeye. It's now a 6v3. Honestly, the fact that nobody else has fallen just yet until Muffin Pirate is kind of a miracle.
JDM has gone
a little too far. Well, this is a little too far. Tad too far. He loses the mecha. We do see Infinite on this Ashe trying to get a pick on their re-entry. Not quite able to find it, but a huge flux going to come out here, finding 2 critical members. However, Bleem gets stunned out of the flux. And now a bomb coming out here. No immortality. JDM going to find Gray with the bomb. And this has been turned back into a 6v3, and now with another pick from JDM. This is a crazy fast Rialto push from Spellbound Tengus.
Where was this Spellbound Tengus over the last hour and 7 minutes? Like, some of it I think is probably Iconic Noobs letting off the gas a bit. But, like, dang, that was just, like, that was a tight look, kind of across the board for them. And, you know, Volskaya was reasonably, you know, passable as well.
Mm-hmm.
Is this a Honey Biscuits, like, just kind of making this lineup work?
I do think that the McCree from Honey Biscuits, for their attack at the very least, it looks like they want to run. They just want to run it back with the same lineup for the most part, with the exception, I think, of Skrillex on Widow. I think they were on something else during their push. Maybe I'm wrong.
They went back and forth to a couple of things. They definitely played Widow for part of it.
But yeah, I do think the McCree is an essential piece. The flashbang is able to keep things from really aggressing. We were talking about the double off tank and how they're not. Neither of these tanks are great at like claiming space as their own. They're both space controllers. That's like the off tank role. And I think that McCree kind of prevents the two from getting run over because he has a form of CC of his own that just completely makes a target vulnerable.
Stop the payload.
The interesting thing will be if this Zarya Roadhog comp can apply that same frontline pressure, slow push kind of effect, but in the almost mirrored opposite way. You know, it's not every day you see double off tank mirror, but 2 different off tanks on each team.
The Roadhog wants to be the space maker here. But unfortunately, there's a Diva and a Sigma in play, and if you hook one of the 2 of those, you're going to be met with a DM. Now, that's what you want to watch out for, is when Muffin Pirate hooks Nano Boost and your Diva's not around to eat it. I think that JDM has to be hyper careful of this Roadhog and has to be ready to eat whenever they hook. Otherwise, you're going to find situations where Nano Boost goes out like this, and we find Spellbound Tengus having to give a lot of ground right here like they are. This is a really good play so far from Iconic Noobs.
It is. It's like a more pick-focused version of that Spellbound Tengus attack.
Yeah.
And they're moving along, actually, even a little bit faster. You know, 20 seconds faster or so.
I do think the Spellbound Tengus composition will thrive a little bit more here.
Yeah, I agree. What I want to see is JDM like standing on this high ground and almost camping Muffin, but without like face checking Muffin. Anything that Muffin hooks needs to be instantly defense matrixed by JDM. Is my, you know, if I were gonna write a prescription to how they stop this, that's my comment. Muffin gonna come out.
Not able to find the hook, but JDM knocks him off the high ground entirely. Gravitic Flux coming out here, not able to pick anything up. JDM tosses bomb out, finds 2, despite the fact that an immortality field had been placed. These bombs from JDM have been pretty killer tonight.
No, JDM's bombs have looked quite good. And now this double hit scan comp on the side of Spellbound Tengus is really gonna come into its own. Like the Tracer can triple blink, you know, kind of get over here in safety. But if they get caught at all, like They're gonna die.
Infinite's in trouble, like a lot of trouble. They actually turned that into aggression on the best, forces them out. Infinite gets to stay alive, and JDM's gonna get demeched here. Things just went from iconic noobs down 1 to, well, now Spellbound Tengus down 3. Honey Biscuits tries to bring it back with the Deadeye, not able to actually convert. Pop-Tart gonna try and get Honey Biscuits out, but Muffin Pirate finds the pick onto the best, and things looking pretty grim here if this card keeps moving.
Yeah, Val kind of read the lines of that fight earlier and went out to push Cart. Actually, they might be strongly rewarded for that play by forcing this last fight a little earlier than Spellbound Tengus might want, as they're still kind of getting in position.
Spellbound Tengus has pushed their way back out on point. LaCroix, though, able to find the better of the Widow duel here against Skrillex. JDM trying to shut it down, though, going after Lady of Siren here. Or,
Big bomb.
Yeah.
JDM bombs are perhaps the fight saver here.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's going to be enough.
I think it is. The immortality field here with both the supports, if nothing else, this is going to create enough stall for the rest of Spellbound Tengus to get back. Skrillex is now set back up here. The grab does fine too, but like I was talking about, the spawn advantage is starting to come through. Honey Biscuits is back, but now Iconic Noobs' team is starting to come back, and they don't have JDM in that mecha anymore, which is a huge form of damage negation. This is swinging back and forth, but now the picks are starting to come through for Iconic Noobs. The res from Nano Boost could be huge, but Muffin Pirate is literally just going to keep getting picks off cooldown with that hook.
He's doing an excellent job here.
Nano Boost able to contest Cart for just a little bit longer. JDM's back and has another bomb, actually. If they can keep that mecha, they're just going to send the bomb out. It's at a bit of a janky angle, but it does force... It actually might have had a little bit of anti-synergy with Honey Biscuits. It forced the team into hiding, and then Honey Biscuits popped Deadeye and had no targets to look at. If nothing else, this has been a crazy stall.
Absolutely. Like, we're already a minute behind pace of Spellbound Tengus going into third quarter.
They actually forced stall picks out of Iconic Noobs. We see Infinite now on the Doomfist actually going to spawn to get off of this hero, despite being pretty close to an ultimate. And you could have comboed the Doomfist ults with the grab.
I think the Meteor Mash combo is, or Space Jam, I think is what they call it. Might be a little wishful thinking against the double shield.
That's fair.
That's not really
an
double
eaten
shield.
grab. That is twice tonight from JDM.
Did he eat another grab? Oh yes, he
Yes.
did. And he ate a pulse bomb.
Yep.
He's a hungry boy.
And unfortunately, though, even with all that, Iconic Noobs is going to manage to overcome it. Yanabu's trying to get out on this Moira, but unfortunately the stagger pick is going to come through. They're going to be missing one of their main healers. They actually have two main heals in play right now.
Indeed.
Broken
Just
hook
the
from
pure
Muffin
volume
Pirate.
of healing.
Nice anti-nade there. Gets cleansed on Bleem themselves, though, with the bubble. JDM gets knocked out of their mecha. Not really what you want to see right now. Honey Biscuit's going to pop the High Noon from the left side, but everybody's going to go into hiding with the Immortality Field. Bleem is antied again, but the bubble, the self-cleanse is too much. And the bomb from JDM, can it be another big one? It does find Bleem, but I don't know if that's going to be enough. Definitely not. Valerian Steel brings them back into the fight. JDM and Nano Boost are the only ones on point right now. Honey Biscuits is back on this Tracer, trying to pick off somebody in the back line, but it's just not going to be enough, I don't think. Spellbound Tengus are still here. The best is on Winston, getting the cleave damage with the Tesla cannon here. A nice hook from Muffin Pirate, gonna pretty much negate the stall anymore. And that'll be Iconic Noobs wrapping up point C of Rialto, taking us into overtime.
Indeed. That was... I mean, the time bank kind of speaks for itself. You're looking at a almost full 3-minute advantage on the side of Spellbound Tengus. Now the question: are we gonna see Noobs run back to the same composition? I feel like the power that it seemed to put out, they're actually going double sniper with it this time. I think I prefer that. That's really even leaning harder into the pick side of this composition.
30 seconds.
Why can I not see? That's weird. Whatever. And then, very much the same, only different on both sides. No changes, just different side of the map. Actually, same side of the map, now that I think about it. Perfect.
3, 2, 1.
The question is still going to be, how do you meaningfully engage with this before,
Stop the payload.
you know, this choke?
Muffin Pirate goes after JDM really quickly in this fight. JDM kind of out of position here.
JDM has been playing really hyper aggro most of the evening. And as much as it pays off with the bomb building, it also costs them a lot, because he goes down very frequently.
They're able to get their mecha back here, but they're starting to claim space on the point, and Skrillex finding a pick on the LaCroix. That's definitely a pick you're looking for, and now Infinite taking this off angle. But the numbers are really starting to favor Spellbound. I say that as Infinite gets a pick onto a pretty crucial piece of Spellbound's hold. And now the Bob gets tossed in. Infinite's managed to build it in time. JDM tosses out a bomb. Is it going to be enough? It's not. I think it actually gets stuck on the top of the building a little bit there and cut off his LOS completely. The only thing it clipped was Bob.
He's had a couple of bombs this evening which were very much too high. There was one on Lijiang, there was that one, and I think there might have been one on Volskaya. But, you know,
Spellbound are going to look to recontest this here. The whole hog coming out from Muffin Pirate and the grab to keep them off point. Iconic Noobs, they had a rough showing there for a moment, but they really want to show everybody that they can bounce back pretty strong when they want to.
Absolutely. I think they're playing this, frankly, the way that they're playing this looks like they're going for the win.
Something to remember, Rialto was a last-second pick. Tier 2 teams didn't know they were playing this until, I believe, the night before all the Tier 2 games went live. So this could actually be a matter of Iconic Noobs weren't quite ready to play Rialto. They've built a plan as they've gone on and have really perfected what they wanted to try with it.
The stagger picks that they're getting right now are really... It's not how you want to take this overtime fight in the slightest, to be very blunt.
Best falls, LaCroix gonna get rezzed here. Iconic Noobs have had a pretty healthy fight this entire time. Honey Biscuits tries to use a Deadeye at the bottom of the stairs. Muffin Pirate finds them and hooks them out of the Deadeye. They do finally get a pick on the Infinite, which might have been a key pick for them. They were getting close to another Bob. JDM just trying to hold on cart, throwing the Bob out. Muffin Pirate's gonna have to sacrifice themselves, able to use the breather, but it does still find Steel. The Gravitic Flux, they go for the Sig 9, it's not gonna come out just yet. You are still down your Mercy, that's gonna be really hard to overcome. A nice hook, but an even better shield from the best, able to block off the damage from Muffin Pirate. And now JDM as the Baby Diva goes into the back line, Bleem able to get the pick onto them. The best is getting beamed down by Bleem. Bob gets tossed out here by Infinite. Now it's going to do enough work. Boost actually finds the pick on the Infinite, but the damage is already done. The card's been turned in. They've been sent back yet another spawn.
This is... Spellbound Tangos are choking, like, pretty miraculously here. They are hard staggering into every one of these fights and are never giving themselves like an actual opportunity to win it.
I think this time though they've got an opportunity. There is a full 6 here invested into this fight. JDM still just getting a little too over aggressive here. Iconic Noobs doing a really good job of acknowledging that and using their hooks to pull JDM even further in. A nice sleep onto the best, and they're even managing to shoot over them. Wasting the nano boost entirely here. Honey Biscuits does find a pick there on the Ashe. Now, it looks like Noobs are kind of out of steam here. This is the first time the cart's come to a full stop for quite a while. A nice Graviton Surge coming out from Bleem, but it doesn't really get executed on. The best is whole hogging people off the point. Actually gets the final blow on the Valyrian Steel, and Lady of Siren doing a fantastic job of holding onto the cart and not letting overtime fall out. LaCroix able to find 2 picks of their own, but finally Spellbound Tengus group up enough to stop this cart at the corner. But Iconic Noobs really put on a great showing considering they only had a minute in the time bank here.
Absolutely. Once they got rolling, like, they literally did not get stopped from the bridge on first point until, you know, the archway here. Not even particularly slowed. The question will be, 4 minutes in the time bank, Spellbound Tengus match it.
They had a
eyeball
really stellar attack of their own, and we haven't seen Iconic Noobs. Now we know their attack composition works very well on attack. They're gonna run it again on defense. We'll have to see if it holds up as a defensive comp as well, because Spellbound Tengus tried the exact same thing. They had a stellar attack composition, and they ran the same thing on their defense, and it did not look as stellar as their attack version of it looked.
My thought is, even if they run back the exact same pace that they captured with, they're still going to be fighting in overtime about the time that they need to win. And that's a big if. Did you see the triple sniper comp coming out of Spellbound Tengus here? Along with triple sniper on the side of Iconic Noobs.
Honey Biscuits did make that late round swap to the Ashe towards the end of their defense. I would assume that they have decided that the counters have come through onto the McCree. It's time to swap things up a little bit. Skrillex with a nice early pick onto Infinite there a moment ago. And now they're going to start getting really aggressive here. They have forced Iconic Noobs all the way back to the bridge already because they don't want to get stagger picked here. JDM may have gone in a bit too aggressive. A nice hook there on the Pop-Tart, but no conversion on it. Actually, Skrillex able to find the pick on the Muffin Pirate, who is probably their best pick potential here. It does get rezzed up, but JDM with a boop into the river on the Bleem. JDM gets the mech over the river! And LaCroix now with the re-entry picks here. It does get rezzed on the Skrillex. They're going to get another chance to take that duel with LaCroix. Muffin Pirate kind of one-man stalling here. The cart does get turned in, though. But Iconic Noobs have a decent shot here at kind of holding. The only person that seems to be really lost is the Tracer, who's about to re-enter the fight with their team.
Yeah, the problem they're going to have now is the sniper pressure.
JDM throwing bomb out. It gets stuck on Muffin Pirate. Did Muffin Pirate hook that?
He hooked it and popped his ult like a real man. That's the ultimate admittal of his error.
That's amazing. The wall hacks are being used on both sides right now. JDM just face tanking at the top of the staircase here. Almost gets Team Mac able to get back to safety here. We're kind of just stalemating here. Teams taking, having fun jabbing at each other here. Poke wars. Bob gets slept. That's unlucky. That bomb could have been massive. And it still might be. Bleem able to get a nice pick on the Honey Biscuits here. The positional advantage is pretty much completely lost by Spellbound Tengus. They're going to have to fight really hard if they want this point back, but getting an anti on the Muffin Pirate and picking them off, good start to things. They're going to have to do something about Infinite in their backline. They've been living rent-free in their backline, and a nice sleep on the Pop-Tart to enable the res goes through safely. Bleem getting nanoed here. It is at a fierce level of charge. The best can't eat that though. and unfortunately he's going to fall because of it. A nice anti on the Muffin Pirate, but Pop-Tart's not going to be able to duel them by themselves after the hook goes through, and that will be Iconic Noobs also getting the D-Mech on the JDM. They're going to have to just throw themselves off the bridge. For a swim they go. They're going to get their mecha back now, though.
Did you rhyme that intentionally? Or are you a poet and
Wait, did I rhyme that?
Yeah.
Oh, neat.
Cool. So this is now where it gets really hard. Rialto 2 is arguably, at this point, the hardest to capture in all of Overwatch right now. In my personal opinion. And
there's an opportunity here. Iconic Noobs could execute on the fact that there for a moment, Spellbound were really split. Here comes the Flux, going to be paired with the bomb, but unfortunately not able to find anything. That's what they wanted. That needed to be the combo for them. Can they come back from it? Nano Boost is already gone. All the healing falls to Pop-Tart. And a grab coming through, picking off Honey Biscuits now back on the McCree. Can JDM stall on Cart long enough? The whole lot comes through and is pushing them off point. And it looks like with that, Iconic Noobs make the comeback on Rialto and take the series 4-0.
Oh my goodness. That was... Oh, we get the big bomb coming in from Mr. JDM. Let's see it, let's see it. Ah, yes. If he had finished the Immortality Field with the melee for the Mega Style, the Glock into the melee finish, beautiful. Would have been beautiful.
Job well done.
You say that, Pop-Tarts Baptiste, but you lost. Okay. Well, I suppose we should get captain's noms for MVP.
Yes.
But what are your initial thoughts?
I mean, start from top, go to bottom. How's that sound?
Send it. Let's go.
So I thought that I mean, there's a bunch of different contenders for tank MVP tonight. I mean, JDM had their fair share of moments. Bleem did really solid for the most part tonight. Ranch also had a great performance on Wrecking Ball, like on map 1, I believe it was. And Muffin Pirate, who like went nuts in 3 and 4.
Those are all reasonable takes. Oh, that's funny. So I feel like there are two, I'll say, true candidates here. I feel like Bleem or JDM probably individually had the largest overall impact on their team's play and chances of winning in a positive sense. Would you agree to that?
Yeah, they would.
Fair. Now, the raw consistency from Blemetheus, like, always looking so good.
I agree.
And then you have JDM, who just, like, almost guaranteed
So, nominations.
will win you... Oh, nominations.
For Iconic Noobs, at the very least. They have nominated Honey Biscuits for DPS and Pop-Tart for support.
Honey Biscuits, I think, would be
I'd
a
get
very
behind
deserving...
both of those.
Those would both be very reasonable picks.
But continue your thought.
My thought is, Bleem is a consistent force for strong play. Like a centerpiece, you can count on him. He will win you fights. He will almost never lose you fights. Like, ever. He is a very consistent player in that sense. Whereas we see over on the side of JDM, mathematically, the boy won about every third team fight off of a bomb.
Yeah.
Which is a pretty fantastic build rate and, overall success rate. But a little bit of questionable aggression at times that I think also cost Spellbound Tengus a lot of fights.
I can
So
see
I'm
that.
let's, because we no longer have to do the one guaranteed to the losing team. Let's leave it at this Bleem JDM discussion for now.
We still
and then
need
let's look back.
nominations from Tengus, unless I'm blind, which I totally am. I need new eyes. One of these days, I'm gonna get me a new pair of eyes. One of these days. Bambi do be typing.
A quick eyeball at the DPS line. It's got to be Infinite or Honey Biscuits, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say that too. We had talked about Honey Biscuits off the nomination, but I was also going to bring up Infinite as a point of conversation here.
Yes. Infinite just putting up a pretty nuts performance all night. All the way from the Pharah on .1 to, Tracer on Rialto overtime. Side note, do we want to do an interview?
I had not prepared for an interview tonight.
I had not either. We could wing it if you're feeling interested.
No, because I am a little bit busy after this, so I would like to kind of...
No, then we will not. DPS Amelia and tank Bleem.
So they're nominating Bleem, and Bleem is like a topic for us.
I feel like Bleem is probably the overall correct answer for MVP here. So let's, soft pencil in Bleemetheus for the MVP. We have this Infinite X and Honey Biscuits kind of locked in. So the argument, I think, is that Honey Biscuits made the two maps that they played actually pretty competitive.
Yes.
Whereas the earlier part of the series was not so much. At least in my opinion.
Right.
I'm willing to hear alternative theories.
I kind of... I mean, there was like the raw domination from Infinite on the first map, which was followed up with some pretty consistent play for the rest of the maps that they were in. But
Agreed.
I'm also leaning towards Honey Biscuits because, like you said, I feel like Spellbound Tengus looked like significantly better when they were playing with Honey Biscuits on DPS, and just the raw versatility we saw out of Honey Biscuits tonight. I think we saw them on, about 3 or 4 different heroes, and each one of them made a significant impact on Spellbound Tengu's ability to take fights and win them. Or even during the losing fights, help make them look winnable.
I think that is a pretty reasonable take. So we'll soft pencil Honey Biscuits. And now, arguably, the toughest candidate, actually, for this evening is support. And my first thought is actually Lady of Siren.
Yeah. I was
This is
between Siren and Pop-Tart for tonight, personally.
the sleep game from Siren. And I know it's recency bias. It was just Rialto. But, like, anything remotely dangerous or important happens, and Siren says, no. We're talking bobs. We're talking ulting nanoed hogs. Like, literally everything. We saw sleeps come out of. Pop-Tart also had several good sleeps. Infinite actually kind of, in the backlines had some trouble getting scared off by Pop-Tart sleeps as well. But I only really saw that on Rialto so much. How do.
I mean, I can get behind the Siren pick because I feel like they, not just on Rialto, but they also did good in Volskaya as well.
I agree. I can get on board with that. Okay, so hypothetically, let's make sure chat's not rioting. Do I see any riots? There will be no interviews, Kitty. And yes, it's 402 Iconic Noobs. So, MVPs we're thinking here are Blometheus, Honey Biscuits, and Lady of Siren. You agree with that?
I can put a stamp of approval on those.
Nice. I can dig it. I will type those up if you want to wrap stream.
Yeah, so I mean that's it for now. We've discussed our MVPs. We'll be giving it to Bleem, Honey Biscuits, and Lady of Siren. The end score between these two teams was Iconic Noobs taking the series 4-0. I have been your caster, Uravity. I was joined by Cryptographer for the commentary. I believe this is our final tier 2 match of the week. We will be taking a couple of weeks off for the holidays. I believe we'll be back with some more tier 3 action around the first week of January. So
January 4th, I believe.
Yes. So keep tuned in for that. I'm sure there will be some announcements about it on Twitter and all that, and some in-server events between now and then. So
I believe there might be a couple of tournaments, 2v2, slightly, meme stuff. So.
All right. Well, that will do it for tonight. Thank you all for tuning in and watching. Have a lovely night.
Indeed. Have a good rest of your